Okay, let's do it, people. So, lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff to do. I think we can pick... I'm not sure whether I want to get into suspense straight away. I'm working on something right now for public directories. So we have this issue. Where is it? We have an error message that gets printed out, which is basically saying that a public asset will remain unchanged at build time. So this one here. So this is the issue that I want to tackle to start with. I'm just going to pop that there. And cool. So I'm investigating this, and basically we can handle this with an external test in rollup options. But if we provide a function like this, well, I want to see what we do exactly. Hey, Q, Cubizzle, Qubit, welcome. It's nice to see you. So basically, what we want to do is handle the case where we have a public asset that isn't handled by Vite. So if we do something like this at the moment and we build our test fixture in the Nuxt playground, we're going to get some errors, or warnings anyway. They're totally harmless, but they are annoying. And where are they? Maybe I need to explicitly create a scenario where they are used. Let's just try that once more time. No, I think I need to create this. Okay, so basically, imagine we have in here a I'm going to create an assets folder, and in there I'm going to create a test CSS. We have a background image, and it's going to be like robots text, which obviously isn't a valid background image, but it doesn't really matter. It should still be emitted into CSS, right? So currently, if I build this playground, it's going to have, it's going to throw an error. No, why not? Oh, I have to add it to the CSS array. So basically we're saying assets, what is it? Test.css. Hello, nice to see you, Lord GS. Okay, this is what we're talking about. We have this sort of warn here. Robots.txt is referenced, but it didn't resolve. Now, it's not resolving because we're not handling this at build time. We're handling this with a Nuxt plugin. It's going to be in the public asset directory. So like it's not meant to be. Thank you very much, Frozen Spirit, Tony. Nice to see you both. So it doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be referenced here. It doesn't you can ignore this. It shouldn't be an issue you need to worry about. And basically we can handle it with a regular expression or a list of files. Now, if we pass an entire list of files to rollup options external, this is what I'm looking at. So basically, this is the Vite code that creates the warning. It checks, is this a valid external? And if it is a valid external, if it's not listed as an external, it will warn. It will always warn about any URL. So we need to figure out how can we avoid this. So one, we could just suppress this particular error, log. It's not harming anything. Two, we could actually explicitly tell rollup that it is an external. It's difficult to know. This will work. So here I'm creating a fake regular expression. So actually I want to say satisfy, like, I guess a question here is like, what exactly does rollup do? Like, what does it do with this external thing? And also, what does Vite do with it? So Vite runs this resolve user external thing, and it basically looks, is it a function? Is it an array? And then it just retests it with the array. This is external thing. Or it just returns the is external. Now the is external test is here. It just calls this dot test. So does it have a dot test function? So yeah, no, I saw your message about that, Exercium, and I'm aware of it, but I haven't had a chance to look into it. Maybe we can look at it later today. Okay, so, and Tom, what a pleasure, and Mehmet, it's all the great and the good. So we can actually fake this. Matt, nice to see you. It's been a while. I saw you were inspired to create a video, so that's great. Server components, is it up yet, or are you just on the beginning of making it? So we can basically say that we're going to come back with a regular expression and create one. Like this. What else do we need? We need to have some other properties. Yeah, no, that's yeah, of course. So this actually will probably work, and it does if we create this sort of fake regular expression here. It will in fact suppress the error. Done. Works fine, but it's not great. All right, so it's a problem. We can either override. The issue is that rollup would only want this as a single function. That will work fine. Should work. Oh, should work fine. Yeah, if we just return a single function. So external should be what is that? So the function will work, but then we remove the ability of users to make any kind of changes to their external function, which isn't ideal. If you're looking for the AnJS roadmap, this is what you want. So this is the discussion. You can check that out. So I don't want to do this. I want to provide something that's in an array. And I want to provide something that is going to handle this for us. So let's see if I can. Tricky. So I mean, like this works, right? So I mean, I can return a fake test. That doesn't feel good. And also this is quite a costly test because what it's doing every single time is synchronously checking like public assets, whether they are in fact present, which is fine, but okay, so what are we going to do? We could create like a regular expression, which, or maybe just create a list of files. File paths. Okay, so like we could do that. We have this create public assets external, and we could basically say, we could do this. Const public files equals await glob. lobby. Let's try that again. Async function. And we basically have const public files and then basically for const layer of Nitro options public assets. We basically want this lobby. And we would like this to be dir.dir. And we're going to add join URL dir.base URL or file. And then we'll just return that list. Okay. And that would probably be fine. Let's see if that works for us. Interesting. What are we coming back with? I'm just worried that this will be a little bit costly with larger projects with lots of public directories. Oh, it's fully resolving it, and actually I don't care about that. So we don't want to. This shouldn't be absolute. So we should have a list of, why is it? There we go. So that's working fine. Like we have a list of public files, and we should probably respect our ignore paths. So we do something like the ignore is like next options. Where are we doing this? Yeah, next options ignore. That should also work. So this is one solution, and this may actually be the best solution because it's native to Rollup. Tricky though. Oops. I think this might be the right solution anyway. Okay, so basically we are, okay, this can be removed back into here. Initially I was abstracting this into a single common function that could be used in both places. So now we have this create public assets external, and actually we're going to change the name of that. It should be called something like list public assets. And we only want to do this at build time, I think. So basically, I think we can do that correctly here. So we do something like, this is an array, so we just directly do that. So we'd say next options dev empty array or list public assets. Seems fine, like that. Okay. I think that's probably the best solution for now, unless we wrap the entire function. So let's push that up and get a PR going. This suppresses the warning Vite was throwing when using public assets in CSS by letting rollup know. Now, actually, we still do need to do some testing and make sure that this isn't breaking anything unintentionally. Okay, I'm going to get Anthony to review this because I think he'd be best placed. And let's see, it's a DX thing because it doesn't actually change the behavior of Vite. It shouldn't. Like the issue it's not a bug, as in it doesn't have runtime consequences. It just is verbose in logging a warning, and we can suppress that here. Okay, so we also have this that Exercium put forward here. Non-ASCII characters in workspace. Now, yeah, this isn't a Nuxt icon thing in particular, but I'm not 100% sure that it is in fact something that we support at all in Vite. So let's just see if we can reproduce the issue. And if so we're going to rename playground to be playground. Okay. Wait, is that actually? I think I'm better CD into it just to be sure. Yeah, this is going well. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Hey, Joaquin, good to see you. And Davi, nice to see you too. Squashing some bugs. You know how I love to do that. Okay, the build works fine there. What else do we need to reproduce this issue? It's just Nuxt icon. What are we trying to load? Okay, I think it just needs a component. I think that's all that it needs. So let's see if we can create a component and reproduce this testing component. And we're just going to try test component, and we're going to create a style scoped root color red. Okay. Alex is live on YouTube. Ah, well, I did not realize that. Okay. Oh, and this is also a build. Let's see. Oh no, that's what we're running here. Well, let's try this one again. So this says if it is lang ts. So, well, that is what we have here. This is T. And this metal also is very good. It doesn't seem to impact the taste of the tea, and I would normally be quite sensitive about that. And nice to see you, Jan. Well, let's try installing Nuxt icon and see if we can reproduce it here. Yeah, ceramic is good. Okay, so let's see if we can run this with Nuxt icon. Okay, it works fine. Do we need to use it in some way? Interesting. See if I can download the code sandbox here. This is sandbox 2. I'm not convinced it's an issue with Nuxt icon, by the way. So let's see. Can't even unzip it. So I'm basically I'm not so super sure that this is going to be supported in any scenario by Vite even. So like I'm not just really not sure that we can support it. But anyway. Okay. Let's see, can we run this? Yeah, okay. Let's we'll create an app.view, and we're going to make it our components directory, and we're going to create components, my component.view, and we're going to use that my component. Let's grab the same one that we just created in Nuxt, because I think that has the things that we might need to reproduce. We're going to pop that in here in app.view, my component, and we're going to run the build. Yeah, so this is not anything to do with Nuxt icon. So this is reproducible on its own. And honestly, it's coming not from Nuxt, it's coming from the Vite plugin view and Vite plugin inspect, it seems. Let me disable DevTools just in case. Yeah, this is not from the Nuxt pipeline at all. So this isn't an issue with the Nuxt icon module. I can reproduce with a plain project and a component with scoped styles. it seems to be thrown by Vite plugin view, which is trying to load file from the file system without converting the path back to the correct format. I would suggest raising Good afternoon. Okay, that was a quick exploration. Let's go and solve some other bugs. And let's restore our environment back to the previous kind of playground. Discard. Beautiful. Pull. Hey, Immonox, good to see you. Sorry that it was not as positive an investigation as it could be. Oh, what's failed here? Everything has failed. Okay, we can't build. We probably left some kind of import that isn't being used. Let's see. Back to Nuxt. Switch to our branch. Let's check public dirs. And is there an import? How about in Vite? Oops. Is there an import in here that isn't being used? No. What's the issue? To path. Globby. Oh, for goodness sake. So where is this? Oh, do we need to, we basically need to depend on Globby, I think. So let's see, we don't have Globby as a dependency of Vite. So packages, Vite. Hey, Bobby, good to see you, and welcome. What else? Okay, what other issues are there to tackle? So this, first, are there any sort of issues that anyone else is encountering here? Might tackle this as well. So basically we have this Nuxt UI templates, I think. It's been renamed a couple of times, so it's it's a bit tricky to find it. Let's see, should be, no, templates maybe. That's, yeah, this thing. Okay, UI templates. And so basically we currently have some templates that we use, including our Nuxt welcome template. And our Nuxt welcome template supports several things here. And let's just change this. Okay. So we have our welcome template, and it says app.view. Remove this welcome page by replacing Nuxt welcome in app.view with your own code. Basically, someone's saying it's possible to get this if you create. This is a Vite issue, by the way. So the reason it comes and goes is because it's not coming from Nuxt. It's coming from Vite. But like, I'm happy to look at it, but it's a hard issue to solve because it's not ours. I believe. Actually, I think Anthony looked at this at some point, so I'm just going to let him know. Okay, here we go. We have some props. Like, this is a totally minor thing. This is saying if you remove app.view, they Yeah, this is just default behavior. I'm not sure I'm going to get rid of basically the point is here, it's possible to make it incorrect by removing app.view, and then it remains. Is that correct? Okay, what happens when you create a new project? So yeah, absolutely. I think the best way into understanding a large code base is to drill into it, like to solve a particular issue, which requires you understanding a small part. And basically, the more you do that, the more bits of it you start to understand, and then you can start putting it together. That's one way to do it anyway. Particularly if it's an open source project you're working on, you don't have to understand the whole thing to start making meaningful contributions. What am I looking at? I want to see what happens. Yeah, we're running dev. So at the moment, it's going to say, yeah, welcome to Nuxt. Okay, now I'm going to delete the app. So this person says, remove it. Okay, remove it. What does it now say? Still says, I think basically we could just say, or creating a pages index.view. That would be another thing, and then it would remain correct. So let's try that. Okay. Are you talking about Nuxt, or are you talking about the project you're working on, Coda? Okay. And we're going to say fix app.view, and basically say fix UI templates, give alternative of creating. Oh no, that's not strictly speaking true. Yeah, that's not strictly speaking true, because if you have an app.view, then that will take the. I mean, I think it's. I don't know. Feels like it might actually be okay. Because if you delete the app.view yourself, we could provide a different prop here, because we have our props, so we have our messages. So we could say something like yeah, exactly, Anish. Basically, I think we could make this optional. So we could do something like template v if. This might not work. Like basically our alternative is that you've created, it's in the case where you have deleted an app.view. So it's in the case where you've deleted an app.view. So you can get rid of it by creating an app.view. So replacing or creating your own app.view. That's probably fine, right? That would cover all the cases, I think. So by replacing Nuxt.com in app.view with your own code or creating your own app.view. If it doesn't exist. Something like that. So it would basically say that. And we'll rebase and we'll push. And I'll get Alex to give me a take on this. Basically, it's this. Okay. And we also, I think, can merge a couple of these POs. We're actually still using Windows CSS in here. Oh, I hadn't even spotted this 2 months ago. Yes, please, Anthony. Why are we not doing this? It's a pain though. Okay. We now have to sort of somehow merge. Actually, I think it might be easier just to, well, let's see. So this is probably quite boring, but hopefully I hadn't even spotted this, and it would be nice to unblock Anthony on this. Is there any chance? I probably could. Let's have a look. I'm really hoping to focus on core Nuxt issues today, though, in preparation for a patch release on the weekend. But we'll see. So are we done? Oh. Goodness, that's quite an old issue. So what exactly do you want me to take a look at? The docs bit here? Okay, where are we using styles? Format CSS is coming in from Prettier. Okay, so that just makes it easier to see. Cool. And let's just check that the rendered templates are correct. Looks good. I'm sure it will be good, right? It's Anthony. Okay, looks good to me. Let's merge that in. This should be unrelated. Let's just update that. Daniel, hello. And Daniel, I have not forgotten your PR, by the way. I know it might feel like that, but I've not forgotten it at all. Okay. Well, this is good. So we're getting some errors here, and probably because we're not having these resolved into... Interesting. Oh, okay, I'll need to look into this. Okay, let's check the dependency updates. Okay, what is this talking about? This is UI, which I don't think exists anymore. Let's see. Yeah, I think we can close that. Hey, Woof. Damien. Nice to see you both. think we now have a go back button. Oh, I see. Maybe just a back as opposed to going home. Might be better. Okay. Okay, let's see these issues. Right. Matt raises this issue. I know, I suspect Julien's already looking at this one because Matt, would you check whether this is true on the nightly release? Because we have already merged, like if you have a look at the pending patch release, we already merged some things that handle issues with nested client directives. So do like if you could quickly check, that would be really kind. Unless it's possible for me to do that here. Let's see. Let's try that. Okay, what are we doing? Right, we're installing these things. Still installing these things. Okay, let's see if this works, if this still fails with the latest version. So basically it's not rendering. So if I go to that is non-interactive, but that's intended, right? Or, oh, but it's not rendering the counter. Okay, I see. So it doesn't look like it's resolved. So basically we should have, what is this? I see. Okay, this might be quite simple, but it might not be. I'm not going to tackle this one today because it's too much. Like I want to land some fixes that help people who are not using experimental features. Like I will address it later, but as much as possible, I want to grab some core issues that are annoying people. Okay, let's see. But I do care about that one. It is also a bug. It's clearly a bug. We do need to solve it. And it's also a good reproduction. So, right. Oh, he was going to fix it. I'm so sorry. Oops. Okay, let's try something else that's not assigned to somebody. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay. This one I think is this is a really big issue because this is an issue with payload extraction and INP. So let's try this. So we basically have this repo, and let's first see if I can reproduce the thing. So basically, it seems like it should be very simple and very straightforward to reproduce. So if I build this, am I going to pre-render it? Yes. So let's build and preview it. Let's install our depths first. Okay, so it has a huge payload. We have our INP thing. Let's go to, what does he say? Switch from start to page bigger payload. Okay, console. What is he saying we need to do to reproduce it? My vitals. Okay, why am I not seeing the bows maybe? Okay, I'm seeing it's very slow. Okay, that's fine. I'm not sure. Maybe I have to enable to see that in the console. Settings, console logging. Okay. Great. So let's try this one more time. So start page, bigger payload, back to start page, back to page with bigger payload. Super long. Okay, this is very reproducible. And if I go here with bigger payload not pre-rendered, that also seems slow. Oh no, I'm not printing it out. Okay. So this is good. Let's see if we can move it into the playground so I can actually test it with a running Nuxt. So what we're going to do is pull it in here. Cool. And there it is. Get rid of some of these things. And let's install any depths. They shouldn't need anything extra. And what I'm going to do is make some changes to the our build settings. So we'll not minify anything in Vite in order for us to better be able to debug this. So let's build it. Okay, let's see what happens. Yeah, that's so slow. Okay, so what are we doing? We are running page with bigger payload. This thing. Oh. Well, the reason is we're awaiting it. Maybe. And let's just see what happens if we remove the await. Okay, all good. Nope, still reproducible. Okay, that's good. Okay, so what's happening here? I'll undo the removal of the awaits. And also I will add it all to Git so that we have something we can more easily track if we're making changes here. Okay, so basically we have this thing happening. Let's change our defaults in our playground to something that we are going to do in future, which is basically we have some defaults and they're currently we currently have deeply reactive properties in objects. So let's see if that makes any difference when we're changing it. We're planning to change this in Next4. We couldn't do it as it was a breaking change initially, but it's absolutely something that has to be done. Okay, we're all... Okay, let's just have a little look at what's happening. Let's try our performance metrics. Let's do a bit of a recording. Let's click through onto the page with bigger payload, back to the start page, and stop and see what happened. So we've got this, which is that we are rendering component. We have quite a long wait period of time without much happening. We have some animations. And then again, we have all of this resolving of components. And then this bit at the end where, okay, we're painting. So can I see what happened? Okay. I'd like to see the event log. What's happening there? Okay, let's do some timings. So if we head into async data, which is probably this is what is right. So like use fetch. Fetch isn't doing a huge amount. This is, by the way, super important. I'm sorry, I don't have any commands, Iris, but if you have anything you want, I am basically the robot here and I can answer it maybe. So basically, fetch just really calls async data, but I'm going to add some timing directly just in case. So we basically will want to do something like this. Okay. So we're going to want, so we have our little, this is going to be our thing. We have our key, and then we have basically our duration. Okay. This is what we're going to use to come up with our timings for async data. So we will basically, let's abstract it. So we'll just create a little use timing function, and we're basically going to start timer, and then we're going to return a function which is basically going to do this and log it for us. And we're going to take our key as a string. Cool. Hey, nice to see you. Happy to have you. Happy to have you here. Okay, so we're looking at performance issues in use async data, and I think this could be a huge fix if we can identify what the issue is. So basically, let's call our, okay, it could be, okay, no, it's not going to be that. Okay, well, we're gonna have really to try everything. So let's try this. So basically, we're gonna say this as const stop init is stop timer init, and we're basically going to call that at this point. Okay, so basically we'll just, that should provide us a log. And I just want to check that everything's working properly. I'm not expecting that this is going to be the thing that takes the time, but we might as well see what is happening. So going back to our home page here. Okay, so we're getting our setup time, and it's super small. That's not what's taking the time. Okay, so let's try then each of these issues. So interesting. Okay, so what might call it? So we'll basically stick this in our initial fetch. So we have our refresh function here, and we'll just stick this in const stop refresh timer equals stop timer refresh. And basically we can do that there. And we can finally do that there, and we can do that there. Cool, let's try that. Mm-hmm. 4 milliseconds. Interesting. So it seems like the stuff isn't happening in use async data. It's maybe happening in rendering the page. Also, do I have 2 extensions or something? Is there a reason I'm getting 2 lots of logs? Or is this just... So, I mean, let's see. The initial log, it's going back. So going back is the problem. So why would that be? So basically when we are going back, what would be different? Reaper, good to see you. So we're rerunning the same thing. Okay, I think this does need to be removed at some point. Let's see if that changes anything here. It makes it lower, but not substantially lower. Okay. What's different about going back? Could it be something like this? This is Pale Night Operator. I have a list of some themes and things that I use here. Okay, that's a huge amount of time. That's painting. Why is it taking so long to paint? Maybe just because it's... Let me just check something. So if we go back to the page with bigger payload and we don't display it, or we don't display it. Let's try this again. So we'll run the same code under the hood. But is it possible that this is a rendering issue? And if so, why? Okay, it's a rendering issue. Okay, so maybe it's something to do with tracked data. Maybe the data is being tracked in some way. So let's say that basically we're creating a ref that isn't scoped to the current, and so it's collecting extra dependencies. So maybe that's because we have this ref in a global context. So if we basically said something like okay, let's remove the ref thing, or let's use this as well. What about this? Is there a too shallow ref I can use? No. I already have a computer. Okay, too shallow ref. It's basically not quite, but I'm just playing around at this moment. Okay, let's see. So again, let's see if we can force it to address the issue. So like, let's just always run this. Okay, that's not it. Let's see if we can basically just say this is going to be that. Okay, so it's not reactive at this point. What's it complaining about? Okay, let's ignore that and just run this. Okay. Okay, we have a computed. Okay, let's drop this. So basically just say that. Oh no, that's not even relevant because we're not using, are we using that? No, that's won't affect it. So okay, I have an idea. Let's try this one more time. No, it's not that. Although this is very relevant here. Okay. Let's just quickly swap out use fetch for use async data in case it's something that might be relevant there. So just use async data, and we're basically just going to fetch that. And that should be fine. And we do that for the index page as well. Okay. I want to rule out the possibility that this is anything that use fetch is adding. Yeah, it's not. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else this could be. So, okay, like what are we doing here? What is taking our time? Let's do some more timing. So we have our stop timer. That's fine. Let's actually run it in the page, okay? So we basically, at this point, have our timer. Let's run that in here. Okay. And then we'll do the same with this one. This is like, it's unclear to me whether this is actually a Nuxt issue at all. Because it seems that this is just, well, let's try it, okay? Let's pull in the payload here. So we're going to grab it and stick it here, hard code it. There's the data. Yeah. Okay, it's still having the exact same issue without async data at all. So this payload, I guess, is the same. Let's just copy it in, stick it in our index page as well. And let's delete the other pages. Okay, why is the pre-rendering relevant? There might be a genuine issue here, but I think it's being obscured by the fact that the rendering of all this data is taking a long time, because it's just sticking it into the page. So at this point we have no, like, just going back and forth from, let's delete these other pages. And now we don't have any async data going on in our app. It's just purely an enormous blob of data. Oh, let's remove them. I should not have started debugging this without confirming that this was in fact reproducible. Yeah, so this is just reproducible no matter what, because it's taking a long time to render this data because we're just dumping it in the page. So I think it may be okay, what's a better test to reproduce then? So let's see. The last page doesn't change interaction. Okay, we'll revert all of our changes in the playground. Just go back to the initial state. And let's run it one more time. Reaper, what do you mean Twitch breaks on Cloudflare wrap? I've been looking at that message and just not able to understand what is going on. Okay, so I see. I don't think I have Cloudflare Warp running. Maybe you have it. Oh, I see, you have it running, and okay. I'm just going to stash these changes. See if we can get back to a pure state. Let's see if we can reproduce again. And I want to remove any possibility that the rendering is what is happening. Like, oops, is the issue, right? So I want to be able to reproduce this with pure, like what we're doing in Nuxt, rather than any potential issues with Vue, for example. So like Vue's behavior when rendering large chunks of JSON data, like that may or may not be an issue with Vue, but it's definitely something that's taking some time. So we'll just stick this in here and see what our metrics are now. Okay, so we are at bigger payload is 32, 24. Smaller payload is not even printing. Not pre-rendered is also, I think, 24. 24. Oh, that's because on the start page we're still rendering the whole thing. Let's try it again. Yeah. I was so optimistic. I thought, oh, there's going to be an issue here that we can immediately reproduce, because it seemed very, very okay, right, where are we? Okay, start page, big payload. Okay, now what else did this person say? Now, I did spot that there's some things that we can fix in async data. So one of them is the watch, for example. I think that should be automatically unwatched, but just in case, it should automatically get unwatched. It's being run within the setup function, so it probably is fine. But it's probably worth us handling this just in case it's not being called in a setup function. So we should be able to do something like on scope dispose off to handle that, and also the same with this. That, like, it feels like that's a no-brainer. It would definitely help. But it's unlikely to solve this issue, because this isn't, I'm not sure I can even reproduce this. Like, we can obviously try and get that 14 milliseconds down, but it doesn't seem to me to be a huge source, like a huge, like, that's just rendering a different page. It's not anywhere near the 240 sort of limit. And it's clearly not caused by the amount of data that's being fetched, nor does it seem to be any different with the not pre-rendered page. Like, so 24, no, not even triggering. These are not triggering because they're so low, I guess. They're not even hitting the limit. And they're sort of triggering like not a huge amount. So I'm going to respond there. Taking a look. It seems what is taking the time is rendering a big blob of JSON in the page. And I comment that out. I can't reproduce any issues with INP in that project. Am I missing something? The behavior doesn't seem to vary based on whether the page is pre-rendered or not. Can you reproduce without rendering a blob of data in the page? Oh, the other thing is I did make some other changes, right? I set pinify false. That shouldn't make a difference. I'll try his project. Let's see. It'll be the same issue, right? But he says it's higher the second time. So okay, like I'll tell him how to test it though. So let's see. Okay. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, that's a shame. I was hoping to get further with this particular issue on this stream, but next time. Okay, let's see what we can do. Another issue to tackle. Okay, this seems like a bug with Kit. And basically we have the scenario where, let's add tabular icons view to our project. Oops, this might be something we push in anyway. We basically need to also check on the scope. So let's just very, very quickly say get current scope. Why are we still in external public assets? Let's get rid of the playground changes and the lock file changes and head back to main. And we will just very quickly perf scope and basically say perf next unsubscribe from watch when scope is disposed. Oops. And we'll just quickly make a PR for that. Although when watch is called synchronously in setup, it is auto-disposed. It's possible users might be calling use async data in other places, and we can handle unsubscribing watch events there as well. Okay. Right, we're doing this. So we have the idea that we're adding a component back to main branch. We have our Nux config in our playground, and it's doing, we have a module and a function, and it's doing this. There we go. And basically we need to install this step. And what else do we have? We need to use it somewhere. So, okay, seems simple reproduction, which is good. Okay. Let's see the archetype. David, good to see you. Sorry if I. Oh, and also we should very, very much probably take a break for a fresh cup of tea. Okay, that is working. Okay, bug is reproducible. I love it. Cool. Getting an issue and basically yeah, okay. This seems like a very, very simple thing to solve. Because we have our components loader, and we're looking for resolve component, and we're finding the component here, like this. That should be exactly what we're doing in both cases. Let's just have a look at the dev tools. Okay, dev tools, where are you? That's weird. Maybe because of the bug. Okay. Ooh. Okay. That's interesting. Aussie boy, what a pleasure. Nice to see you. Okay, it doesn't provide an export named icon analyze. Wait a second. I see. Well, that's really kind of you. Thank you. Okay, I think, right. We have our Nuxt component import here, and we look for that in our transform. And our transform should run in all cases. So the issue is that this is ignored. So basically what we want is okay, or ID, let's see. What are we wanting? I'm wanting somehow to get to detect the components. Right. Yes, no, we do need tea. We need tea. Sorry about that. I'm going to get distracted and never have tea, and that would be a bad thing for everybody. Okay, 5 minutes, fresh cup of tea, and see you back here. Okay, I'm back. Oh, the sun is shining. It's great. Okay. So, what are we doing? We are, right. So we're just testing this. I think we should be able to just to say something like, oh no, this is transforming the imports. Can we not just do this? Right? No, that clearly doesn't suffice. Okay, so what is the issue here? Hey, Carlos. Good to see you. Excellent. I always know you get there, Joaquin. You are a force of nature. Okay, so we're transforming our components. Let's just see. There seems to be an issue with this. Okay, and this is our plugin. So, oh, because these are all importing. Oh, okay. So we're expecting a default, and it's a named one. So that's interesting. So we basically are saying, are we passing this? We're saying component name. So next component name. Okay, this is interesting. Right, so what does this okay. So basically we're saying as an export. I'm sorry, it will take me a while to get this and get back into the headspace of here. So we have okay. If we got rid of those, it would probably be fine, right? But they were added for a reason. So like I need to look at why I added them back. Yeah, so it's fine. We are hydrating. This is an invalid node. It's not resolving, but that's fine. That's a separate issue, I guess. So looking at the playground, we'll ignore that for the moment. The point is these are loading fine. So then the question is why we added the export when we specifically export defaults. So this code, see line history, was added here. Let's see, where did that come from? What was the bug it was resolving? So it was me. And I think I may have done it wrong. Maybe it was the raw thing. Or maybe it was the mode. Let's see. Okay, I think actually the fix is not the one that I did. What's your favorite part, Bobby, when the tests are passing? I think it should be this instead. So we should respect it here. So I think what we want to do is, instead of the default at this point, or this point, oh yeah, like this is where we respect the named export. So what we want to do is something like, okay, we have our with mode, or just the file path. Okay, so we so basically we need the export if we do have a mode, and we don't need the export if we don't have a mode. So let's try that again. So if we have a mode, then we are in fact going to use the default, and otherwise we're going to use the export. Let's try that. I think that might have been the better fix. So interesting. Is this added with a mode? No. And what we would do is like export is C export or default. Okay, and then we'll basically pull out the component export here. And we will do this instead. Nice. Gen import, and this will be bear, and it will be that, but it will be, let's see, name is going to be no, component export. What's the problem? Okay. Let's see what this does. Interesting. So we're importing that from this endpoint. Next component export. We have next component export. Interesting. Let's see what this particular thing looks like. Okay, we're going to pull this in. Oh, but it shouldn't be imported it should be imported as interesting. Okay. Why would this... So why is it importing this to start with as a named... We have our components.mjs. Let's pull that up. Plugin. Okay, so it's the transform that's happening here. And basically, well, we can gen export. So component export. Yeah, we could do that. What is it? Ah. No, David, that was a different one. I don't know what Bobby thinks about my assertion now, that he agrees or disagrees about it being easy to fix. Oops. parse error. Interesting. What has gone wrong here? Parse. Oh, equals. That's important. Okay. I think this is a fix. And we also have the thing here, which is that icon analyze, component is icon analyze, should also work. Oh, it does work. Excellent. All is good. Okay, so these fixes, I think, should do what we want. So basically, we're passing along the export. We are... probably don't need to do this. Okay. Let's see if more things... like this seems fine. Like, okay. Do we do some testing for components? I think we do. I think we've got a test here. Maybe not. Okay, we have our unplugin. Let's just try it. So basically, let's create some tests for it, basically. So, do we have a test? We don't. Okay, so we'll basically say component transform test. I guess we have a, what is it, like function get a transform, maybe, something like that. And we're going to pull out the plugin. We're going to say, what do we need in the transform plugin? We have some things we need access to. So we basically need a build direction, builder, and then a source map. Is that all? Builder and a source map. So okay. Next, we need a get components function. So basically we'll have an array of components here, and they need to be components. And we'll just pass in this to get them. And finally, we need a mode. And I think we can probably just take that in as well. So we'll want to be able to pass the mode here. And what is the mode we want? Or all. Okay. Now we want to then we'll call it create transformer. And then we will basically return a transform function. So is that going to work? Presumably. We want to get the code or nothing. Okay, let's try this. We're going to run our vtest. It should transform components imports. Okay, and basically we would say something like, seems okay, this is interesting. What is Copilot doing? So we want to pass some components in. All right, what else do we need? I love it. It's not doing a bad job. Okay, it's not transform though. It's plugin, let's see, dot raw. What does the actual transform plugin look like? So we've got a async transform, and it's basically going to be the, we're going to call it the raw like that, I guess. No. What's coming out? It's got a plugin. It's a function. Oh no, we need to execute it, right? So could execute the v thing. And what's coming back? We've now got a transform. So now we can call that and say, oh, and it's looking for, it is looking for an ID. So we do actually need the ID. So we're going to say this is going to be app.view. Okay, so it is actually working. Cool. So we then want to do something, we need to provide some extra kit. So we're going to chunk name, kebab name, what else do we need? Prefetch, preload. Short path. Okay, so like a lot of this is not really required. So basically it is transforming components imports. And so imagine we had two of these. And this one is going to have a this export is going to be bar. Then we would expect foo bar. Beautiful. Nice. What else do we want to test? So it should correctly resolve we're solving a bug with a third-party library and a named component that's added to be imported. So we basically want to handle this with mode bit. So this is for a component which has a specific mode. So it's not, these are all. Let's see, server components. It should correctly resolve client components. What else do we have? Async components. And let's try that. So, oh, and that's also, like, most of this isn't required. So actually all we need, well, most of this isn't required, right? So let's just create a quick helper function that's going to make our component a bit simpler. So function create component, and basically we want to return something that looks like this. So we're going to take a name, and basically our file path is going to be that. We have our Pascal name, which will pull that there. And then we will have any other options. Let's stick it in here. What's the matter? Okay, this will make it a little bit easier to handle this, I think. Oh. So we basically can, let's see, Pascal name to lowercase. Kebab name is going to be kebab case Pascal name. And there we go. I think that's reasonable as a simplification here. So we're basically going to directly create a component foo. We're going to create a component bar, and that is probably good enough. So there we go. Alien, what a pleasure. Nice to see you. Okay, this is looking good, as in terms of a nice ergonomic test. And we're going to want to do the same kind of thing over and over in each of these particular test functions. So we are going to do that. And we're just going to quickly change them. So it should resolve server only components. So we want to basically be able to say mode server. And then that's what it should look like at the other end. It should, let's try this again with client. We should be able to do the same here. Let's try lazy foo as well. And we should be able to do the same transform. We're already doing async above. Okay, cool. Yes, CityJS London. It is going to be a lot of fun. You're right, that would probably be a good thing to test as well. Right, so we also want to test like how this is resolved. It's like what the code is that comes back if you import this. So we should basically test that too. Oh, and also, okay, const source. Okay, so let's see. What is the transform plugin again? We return these based on the ID. Okay. So basically, it should be like this. Ah. Just going to pop that in there. And we'll do the same for the other lazy one here. Okay. I'm running vtest in the background. It's absolutely the way to do it when you're working on a test or a feature, because it very quickly shows you like what the result is. You can change the source, it immediately updates it in your test fixture. It's like it's fantastic as an experience. I highly recommend. So we'll do the same here with these guys. So that is our first one. This is and this is our second one. Boom. Okay, so we have our component, our client only, we have our async component, and that just looks excellent to me. Fully test the issue we're trying to solve here. Like it would have highlighted the problem. We get a snapshot of what our current code coming back is. Feels nice. Okay, so this is going to be fix named component import. Let's see, fix next handle named components with transform. What was a better description? It's following up on that. Auto importing. Oh, well, good enough. Okay. Oh, they don't. We need to add one or two more tests, because this is only testing the we need a named version of each of these. So this one should be where's our test? We basically need to also add this one, which will be an export is custom is like foo. And we'll restart our test, please. Yep, that's good. Need to try this one here. Yep. And is that server only? And this is client only. Cool. Add a named test case as well. What ideas do you have, David? Because like you are the expert on this. It would be nice. It would absolutely be nice. And by the way, I'm so sorry on your the PR API changes you've made to Archetype. They look great. They really look great. We just need to attest. We need to implement it. So please do ping me about it because yeah, I need that. Okay, so there we go. Super small amount. I think that's quite a nice little bug fix. Now we need to go back and find out why. There are a couple PRs that I submitted that have failed. So let's figure out what's going on there. This one is just a flake, looks like. We'll rerun those 2 tests and all should be good. Let's see, we have this one, which is not a flake. This actually genuinely is an issue we need to solve. Oh, and thankfully someone has submitted an update to the core modules roadmap. Thank you so much. I'm not sure we should move these. Because these aren't community modules. But I guess it doesn't matter hugely. Well, I mean, the thing is that is actually a string. We're just doing string manipulation here. It's not an actual function. But yeah. Okay. What else are we looking at? This is a good PR, by the way, but I need to tweak it, I think. Okay. Let rollup know that public assets are handled as literals. This is a good point from Puya. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everyone check out a test. Do you have docs specifically for a test now? Anyway, I should basically start using it more. Okay, so this is building and it's having a problem, I guess, when building, getting module not found. And it's being imported from override. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, this is being yeah, this is probably a significant bug in my thing. Okay, let's see what's going on. We are popping into external public assets. And we have it in override. Every built Vite thing's failing. So it should be pretty easy to reproduce. Oh, that's interesting. On Ubuntu and Windows. And this is happening in basic test. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? So this is doing what? We're building or maybe this is so we have our public directory and it has no. Okay. I guess it's that there's this Nuxt SVG. Oops, what's that? Can I find? Let's have a quick look at our Vite package, and we have our external, and we should print these out for ourselves. So let's just see what they are. Make sure that they are in fact correctly being resolved. So we've got public Nuxt, that's all correct. So it's obviously the case then that we are somehow creating a chunk which is importing from Nuxt SVG, which is not what we want. This only should be resolved as an external if it's being checked for in CSS. So this may actually be the wrong approach. But I mean, like this is running. Okay, it must be a runtime error. So basically, when we're running it, presumably we're hitting where's that override? Extends override is used where? Override. So that is pulling in this. So this is the chunk, and it's importing it from Nuxt SVG. So yeah, okay. Yeah, that's crazy. So that's definitely not right. Okay, so this is the wrong solution, and we can't just say this is these are externals. We have to instead, that's such a pain. Okay, so let's see if we can reproduce this issue and try and solve it a different way. This is annoying. Yeah, that was a very long relative extra. Okay, so let's go for, okay, we need our CSS and we have our assets. Yeah, do that again, please. Yeah, assets main CSS, and we have assets main CSS, and it has like root background image URL robots.txt, and we've got public robots.txt. We're also going to do the same in our app here. Okay, so now if we were to build this and run it, I think it's going to fail, right? Oh no, did we? Oh, it needs to be robots. That's weird. Oh, because it's still in CSS. We need to use it in here in the Mac. Oh, and we probably also want to use it there. All right. Yeah. That's going to fail, of course. So this is absolutely right that we're having this as an issue. Yeah, so it's not going to work because it's being used as a module. So this is just totally the wrong solution. Sorry, team. And if we don't do it, we get the error again. How do we bypass this? Well, effectively what we're trying to do is bypass Vite's warning without bypassing the behavior. Because this is work fine. Like it's trying to load it from robots that text, which obviously doesn't exist, but it's correct behavior. So what we want it to do, let's see. I don't think this ever gets called. And if we remove the enforce post, maybe enforce pre, we're going to get it here and here. What's our importer? So what I'm interested in is the CSS. So the app.view is working fine and we can resolve it. I think we can handle that. It's the CSS bit that we can't. I wonder if I had a post CSS resolver prop plugin, whether that would solve it. So basically, we have post CSS resolve, I think, that Vite injects. Resolve URL CSS what? Import. So we have something like resolve post CSS. Resolve URL. And that is going to use this thing to resolve it. So let's see if we have any options we can pass to Vite to resolve. Let's see if I can do something here. How are we resolving them? Okay, so we have this create resolver. Is this. This resolver is handling. Okay, that resolver is handling so weird. Well, this is clearly not the right solution, and I'm not sure that I think this deserves a little bit more thought, basically. Okay, let's come back to that. Come on, rerun this thing. Right, what else are we going to fix? This is something that oh, yes. Have you, Inesh, are you still around? Have you actually... Now, this is definitely something we want to solve. Okay, this is quite a nice feature. Okay, so basically we have this here. We're going to drop these things. And then we're going to stash these so I can pull it back when I want to. This is testing public asset resolution feet. Cool. Come on. Come on, what is going on here? Come on. Right, VS Code. Let that teach you. Okay, so what we're trying to do is this other one here. And Inesh and I had a chat the other day, and this just came up in the conversation, so I think we can resolve it. Cool. So we have this option. We have view plugin, plugin view, and what we do here is we pass to it. Hello, Arcanum. We pass to it the client config view. And our client config view should have some stuff. It should specifically allow us to have some... What are we looking for? Script. What are we looking for? We're looking for compiler options directly. sure if I managed to mute that in time. Okay, so we don't want compiler options. We want these should be directly, thank you very much. We want to accept all the options that the Vue plugin accepts. And okay, let's try that. Let's pull that in here. Okay. Interesting. Why is that in here? Feels like this should be here, right? And equally, are we just ignoring these compiler options maybe? Weird. These are just incorrect. I'm pretty sure this is no longer a thing, right? Okay. We've got some issues here. Okay, so basically compiler options isn't being used. This is really, okay, this is annoying. So basically we do want property structure to be false. think I need to improve. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at this issue here, which is basically supporting reading from the VFS when we have things like types. So the Vue compiler needs to be able to read types or read files. Some of these files exist on disk, and those are the only ones it can read right now. And if we enable it to resolve virtual files, then we basically get some benefits straight out of the box. And along the way, I'm discovering that some of our types in our schema aren't valid. So for a start, the transform asset URLs should really be the same between the two. So we should have the same here and here. This also has, so we should basically resolve this to be Vue template transform asset URLs like this. Like that. And then we don't have to maintain this in more than one place. And then, like, again, let's try this. To key in Vue loader options, any. So, key of. So basically what we should do is just ensure at the very minimum that what is being resolved here is a potentially valid option. And then we can handle the issue of what it is. And this is going to basically be resolve, oops. We're going to say it's a resolve with val unknown and get ID to promise unknown. And it needs to be actually specifically, rather than that, it needs to return a promise of the correct value. So here, interesting. Hello, Green. What are you saying about this? Let's try this. Are you saying this is not? What's going on there? I feel like somehow I'm polluting the types by putting this in. What have I done? Have I? That seems fine, right? Do I need to basically remove this? What's going on? Why is this not valid? I'm sorry about this. So basically, what I'm doing right now is springboarded from this issue, but isn't the same thing. So what I'm trying to do is improve the types for the Vue options that we have in our app. And so, for example, we have a compiler options key in the Vue property in your Nuxt config. So you can open your Nuxt config and start typing view here, and it's going to say, hey, you can provide some compiler options. The fact is you can't provide those compiler options. It's not valid, and we weren't hitherto checking. So I think those are being used by Webpack, but they're not being used by Vite. That's a problem. It's not ideal. So we need to update the schema so it's correct and works in both cases. And so I just uncovered that while I was about to solve this issue, and I want to resolve it so the types are correct and people are getting the correct hints when they are starting to do things in their app. So in this case, the let's undo my changes here. So this is what it was, largely. It's not really changed. Only the as. It's different. I think. Oh. No, it seems like we have 2 extra. There we go. That's the problem. Okay. So, right. So now we're resolving this to the correct place. Let's drop these things. And let's add the typing that I had before. So okay, so the previous typing I had, I might have to rewrite, was that we can provide some type safety here in the form of, it's probably something we need to solve in untyped. So we want to satisfy view loader options, k in key of view loader options, and resolve val get promise view loader options k. Like that's what we want. And so does this resolve? Does this correctly resolve? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah, that is right. And we'll basically say val is unknown, and get is going to return a promise of unknown. Okay, so we do need to handle this a little bit better. So in this particular case, we want it to be this. So I think we probably want to do something like this. And here we want to say this is going to be import view loader. Well, I think we can actually just directly say, because we've specified it here, so the user is hopefully, well, like we can, it should be either like undefined or null, or view loader options, compiler options. So that let's just check. So what should the compiler options look like? They should be like an object. So I'll just specify it. Actually, I might as well, like this isn't type safe in any way. I'm just going to coerce it. Just say this is what it's going to be. But ultimately we need a better solution. Okay, we're going to say basically fix view VFS. So first we're basically going to do one change, which is extracting the transform asset URLs from Vite and sharing it with Webpack. So fix schema, share Vite and Webpack, transform asset URLs config. Okay. Then the next thing is that we need to open up that app again and do something with its compiler options because it's in the wrong place at the very, very, very least. So we're using it here in Webpack, but we're not using it in Vite. And so this should probably be used somewhere else. So in Vite, we have our oh no, that's a specific compiler. We probably want to pass it in what are the compiler options? Okay, our compiler options are our parser options, transform options, and cogen options. Now in our Vite plugin view, we don't tend to use those here. Let's just specify this correctly at this stage. Okay, and runtime compiler. This is a separate thing. We basically need to define the type probably up top. And we do that like this. Okay. And we basically want to enforce that. as much as we possibly can. Crazy. Oh, yeah, that. Okay, so my local time right now is 4:50 p.m. in the evening. Okay. So now let's just quickly run a stub. What this is going to do is basically compile this into a schema that now is going to flow through into here. So if our client config.view should now be typed as having these things. Why is it not typed? Let's see. Okay, it's because we're typing it here. I think it is summertime. Oh no, you're right. It comes ahead. Yeah, we're currently 1 hour back from the US. 1 week away from. So the US is already jumped into summertime, and the UK and the rest of the world have not. So, yeah. So we need to define this here correctly, and basically this is. Okay, well, if this is what we want it to be, and this is what we've defined it, view plugin options. Compiler options, runtime compiler, and props destructure. Okay, and let's pull those out like this. From Ukraine, welcome. Summertime starts on Sunday. Yes, it does. Cool. Okay, so this is improving our types, I hope. Okay, so we basically, this should also, I think, complain a little bit. Okay, now we don't actually need this here because it is defined elsewhere. We might need to add this as a dependency of schema. No, it's already there. All right, let's just check it's there in dev dependencies. Okay, and now this, it's a long way around to get to this bit here. This is now correctly being, so I think if I were to pass this in like this, it's going to complain probably. Yeah, it's going to complain because it's not actually, it has extraneous properties. So the compiler options specifically, we need to do something else with them. So we would want to do something like compiler options, view config equals client config.view, and then we'll pass in like the loader config. But we still need to do something with the compiler options. So why is this not marked as being, anyway, so we need to do something with it. So I think we need to handle this a bit higher up. So basically in our vite, so like we should just pass in our client config. But in vite, we need to do something or extract something with it. So like this. So basically, we need to merge in like this. And this should be basically context config. We have a Webpack builder, so people can use Webpack with Knux 3. Not everybody obviously wants to do that, but it is possible. Okay, so what are we going to do with these compiler options? So let's have a look. Inside this Vue plugin, just ignore that for the moment and say like, where are our compiler options conceivably going to go? So we have our our compiler options dot so there's a lot of specifics. Some of these are template related. So we have basically template, we have compiler is a custom instance, we have a custom element, we have exclude, include, is production, and style, which is also more options like that. Script style and template. Custom element is like a function. Now in compiler options, do we have a custom element? Yes. Custom element here is a list of strings or things. Oh no, that's we don't want to do anything with that. So we have basically inside our template. I'm glad you're loving it, Happy Fruit. Compiler options, we want to pass those there. Cool. Style, can we pass script? Okay. What we want a script is to pass property structure like this. And do we have hoist static? Global type files? No. Babel? No. So basically FS, do we have FS up here? No. Cool. So basically those are the things we can pass through to script. Style, we should be able to pass through InMap and trim. So do we have got anything there? Trim. No. So that's not really script related, style related stuff. Compiler options, we also have those, but like that's basically what this should look like. Okay. So this is should be our resolved configuration. And so we basically should do something like this. The Vue config, this is explicitly what people have passed. And our defaults should be this. This is where we're going to pull in our compiler options and property structure and other things like that. So what's the issue here? This needs to satisfy view plugin options. So I'm going to drop those. Now this should be in. Where's view? In schema. This needs to be defined here, I guess, then as and view plugin options. No, I don't. We're not planning on dropping Webpack support for version 4. Okay, that's not working properly. So I think we need to do it in here. No. Here. So we basically have some overrides. Like this. Yeah, we need to fix that. Like, please raise an issue. I regard that as a bug if a module doesn't have support for other bundlers that you might use. So for example, I would like to see RSPack support land in Nuxt, and it would be a real shame if some modules didn't work with it. So like, do raise that with individual modules that don't support these things. Todd, nice to see you. So what are some of these compiler options that we want to, or these plugin options that we should support? Include, exclude, etc. So why would it not be recognizing it? So we want to like include. Why is that not? That's weird. I don't know, you would be surprised, I think. Okay, so view. Why is this being omitted? So we have Webpack here, which is, no, bad example. Vite has this. So why is, oh no, we specifically have to put it in. Okay. Oh well. So basically we want view. Let's try this instead. Likewise, green, see you later. Yeah, this needs to happen not in the client, but in the, this is what we're doing, right? We've already moved it out, I think. Cool. So this needs to happen in Vite here. And we need to pull it out from Nuxt. Nuxt options view. There we go. And set yeah, like this. Okay. Julian, see you later. Hey, Yuan. Good to see you. What I'm working on is actually tidying up the options for Vue and fixing some options for Vue in Nuxt. And it seems like there are actually some issues here that we need to resolve. Okay, this is the problem, I guess. A bit weird, but anyway. Right. Okay, I think this may be the right call. Okay, so we finally have something which is where our types are flowing through, I think. So let's see if that's still true in the playground, which it might not be. So yeah, it's not yet. So basically, let's just reload the window and make sure we're still pulling in the correct types. Yes, no. So we're pulling in compiler options, runtime compiler, and props destructure. Don't create more issues, people. Solve them. Solve the issues. That's the thing to do. Solve the issues. Okay, so we have Vue config. Where is this coming from? It's coming from here. Why is this not being respected? I say to you. Which is probably why this bug has not bitten you before. And which is like jolly good. I don't want this bug to be biting anybody. But I know. Why? Ah! Thank you. Nice. Yep, I see it. It's a good issue. Okay, so, right, I'm still on this thing. Okay, I think it's how our app is being imported. So we're importing the untyped schema. How is the Vite schema being defined? The same way. But it seems to be genuinely reflected in here correctly. It's resolved, but the Vue schema is not. What is resolved there? okay. It is resolved in one place, but not in the other. So where does this come from? This is pulling in from config schema view in PNPM. Like that's a compiled version. So there's something very weird going on here. I think it may be to do with, I'm just going to clear my node modules and rebuild it. By the way, Fabian or anyone else, if you spot an issue that is old, please, please, please just comment on it, ping me, whatever, and say this can be closed or something like that, because it is it is a pain, because they're cluttering up real issues that people are facing, and it always takes time to process and go through them. There are also a bunch of Nux2 issues that are still around that I'm reluctant to remove fully until we actually get to the point of, what's this? It's not right. Let's get rid of this. This isn't the config I want to be in anyway. Okay, so include here. Okay, so it was... Okay, so this is fine. Let's just remove this. Why would it be marked as any? All right. Okay, it looks like we're now starting. I think it was an issue with the node modules rather than what I was doing. Okay, let's have a look at our config. Coming in, and do we have other options? Yes. Okay, it's all flowing through. This is good. Whew. Took a while. So basically, we now have some better types for our view config. Let's remove the non-essential changes. Confirm that this is correctly being handled. Cool. We want probably to clone it. I guess Defu will do that, so it won't be sharing any objects. Oh no, I guess it's probably fine if we do something like this. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Okay, so let's try this. So fix Veed, normalize compiler options correctly. Fabian, yes, that is the idea. We actually even have a stale bot that is meant to do that. It might not be working fully. It might be a rate limit issue or something like that. But it is meant to do that. We are intending to get rid of it. Hey, thanks, Yuan. Okay, so that is nice to have done. Okay. What else do we want to do? Haha, Fabian, we were there together. It was at the top because you added the label. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was a new issue coming in. But thank you for doing that. So basically, I think this, oops, that's weird. I think this is probably quite a nice thing to experiment with. So why would we get rid of this bit though? Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it? Let me just see the raw one. Bobby, I would welcome your thoughts if you have any comments on the PR, because obviously you're dealing with exactly the same thing in the I18N. Yeah. This shouldn't be needed. I do count creating issues and triaging them, absolutely. Interesting. Because it should inherit, like it should get it from a Nuxt instance. That should be how the, I mean, if it fails, then it fails. Just say, but I just wanted to check you had tested it. The test looked solid. Well, so this is the template for the for PRs rather than for issues. We already have some nice templates for issues that allow people to just directly use forms. Right. I think we can say, oops. I think we can say that we're nearly there. And probably we've submitted some PRs. I could probably potter around for a little bit more, but it's approaching dinner time. And so I think I might just end it. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see if there's anywhere else we can go. Oh, not me. Cool. Should we go to GitHub? They often have some quite fun stuff. And this is an open source Friday. Let's do that. Sound okay? Oh, we can't raid. Goodness. Okay, how about Nikki then? Great. Good stuff. Well, yeah, again, thank you all. And I hope you have a very, very, very lovely evening or rest of your day or whatever. And yeah, that's all from me.